This episode of the CUInsight Experience podcast is sponsored by Alacrity, a leading payments fintech helping credit unions modernize money movement. Alacrity enables real-time money movement experiences for loan payments, A2A transfers, digital disbursements, and bill pay through a single cloud-native platform that connects to RTP, FedNow, FedWire, ACH, Visa Direct, and Zelle. Credit unions can progressively modernize without overhauling legacy systems. Learn more at alacrity.com.
Welcome to a brand new season of the CUInsight Experience. I'm Randy Smith, one of the co-founders of CUInsight.com, and I'm thrilled to be back with you for 2026. I'm joined by my co-host for the second year now in a row, my partner in podcasting and life, my favorite human, my love, Jill Nowacki.
Aw, Randy. All right. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Jill Nowacki, the founder and CEO of Humanidei. It feels so good to be here. We've been looking forward to kicking off this season for a few months now.
That we have. We spent a lot of time thinking about what leaders are craving right now. And I'd say not only that, but what have we wanted to talk about? So really what we came up with was with this idea of spending this season talking about purpose, intention, energy, the parts of leadership that lifts you higher instead of, let's say, weighing you down. There seems to be enough of that out there. We'll let other people deal with that.
Absolutely. Yes. This season is all about leading with purpose. The conversations that help us feel grounded, inspired, and aligned. It's not crisis. It's not burnout. It's not everything that is or could possibly go wrong. We're focusing on what's good, what's possible, and what's out there that really helps leaders thrive.
And we're kicking things off today with a little table setting, where we are, what we're seeing, what we hope for leaders this year, and honestly, just a good conversation between the two of us to kind of set the tone of the season to come.
And that is a great cue, a good opportunity to say, if you're listening to this, maybe you're an early listener, but you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. We're going to have some great guests coming up this year, too. We're going to have some great conversations. We want to make sure you're here and you're able to join us for all of them. So go ahead and subscribe, and we'll keep connected throughout the whole year.
Apple, Spotify, a lot more people listening on Amazon nowadays. So hit subscribe. Also, share it with your friends. If you think this is something they'd be interested in, please pass the word along because it is going to be a great season. And with that, let's just jump right into the conversation, Joey. I want to start here. When we first talked about this theme of purpose, it's one of those things I know lights you up. So why did this feel right for the podcast this year?
Yeah, well, purpose always feels right to me. It's something that brings me a lot of joy. It's when I'm working with credit unions, I love doing their True North workshops, helping them find their way of being, their true purpose, working with individuals. It's that values identification. Those are some of the things that really light me up. And for those folks who know us well, even our love story came from a point of origination by a conversation around purpose and the idea of what lights us up. But really thinking about it from a leadership perspective, I've really come to reflect on how important it has become to us, at least as Americans, maybe as humans, to really focus on having a purpose at work and how important it is. And it does create something. So folks who have found themselves laid off or in career transition or even stuck in their jobs, we see it impact their mental health, their well-being, their overall joy and happiness. And we can look at this and say, having a purpose at work that really connects to you and really draws you, it impacts all those areas of your life. And so I think that there's just been a lot of stuff happening in the workforce that has caused me to think about that role that having a purpose really plays in what we do and how we lead. So as leaders, how do we make sure our team knows what their purpose is? And as individuals, how do we make sure that we're living our purpose and contributing at the highest value we can in the work that we do too?
You know, it's that idea when we were kind of putting down notes for this of like purpose makes leadership feel worth it. And I'm doing air quotes. And that idea, it's like the difference between just that idea of like running fast or running in the right direction. And that's something to me that whether we're talking about leading our organizations or a team or in life, we all know what it feels like to kind of be going in the wrong direction or be going scattered. And that's, I think a lot of the times, if we pause and we take a look back, did we lose the purpose of what we were doing? Or did we start doing it for maybe the wrong reasons, or maybe just reasons, to use the term that I absolutely love that started at the beginning of our conversation? Are we doing things that don't light you up, light me up, light the organization up, quite honestly? So to me, like, focusing on that purpose, and I think I shared this in episode last year, but something that, like, I to this day and have been sitting with for that last couple of years comes from the wise philosopher Matthew McConaughey in his book Greenlighting. But before you do, ask if you want to. And to me, with purpose, before you do, if you're really focused on your purpose and what lights you up, then you generally want to do those things. So I was looking forward to this conversation. I'm looking forward to this season altogether.
Yeah, I think that conversation that you started there, that concept of the running fast in the right direction, or running at the right pace versus just running fast. And I think that's something that leaders, but even just humans, just people, they're really craving that opportunity to be both grounded and energized. So to know that the work they're doing matters, and to know that they're doing it in a way that can be sustained over time. And I think that's something that may be different about 2026 than over a period that we've been in lately, where maybe the sense of urgency has been so strong. And maybe now we're to a point where there might be some ability to find some peaceful grounding in this energy too. And so to start to move to a place that we're running our organizations, running our lives at a more sustainable pace.
As we were preparing for this, I kept thinking back to so many of the conversations that we had with friends on the show last year. And that idea in leadership, I think we all at times have to slow down, whether it's celebrate the wins, whether it's making sure that we're still going in that right direction, and whether we're, and again, with everything we talk about on something like this, that's whether we're talking about leading our teams or just looking at our own lives too. The thing that I would tell everybody as we look into 2026 and it being a new year is, you may have all kinds of things going on and all kinds of obligations that are already set in place. Most of those we can't change overnight. So we still want to do what we said we're going to do. Our word means something. We still want to fulfill those commitments, but also taking a pause and saying, do these align with my purpose? Do these align with our organization's purpose? And if they don't, how do we make sure we're not just touching the stove over and over again? And it may take us 3 months or 6 months or a year or 2 years to change, but are we taking those baby steps starting today to make sure that we're leading and we're living with purpose? So let's talk about what we're seeing. We spend a lot of time with credit union leaders across the country and around the world, quite honestly. I think you started to touch on this, but what are you noticing as we are now into 2026?
I'm sort of in denial that we're in 2026 already. I don't know, maybe it's the way the holidays fell, maybe it was something, but it kind of like the fact that I opened my eyes and it was we're already a week into January, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that happened. So still early in the year though, and that's what I will keep holding on to. But I think what I'm seeing as we head into 2026 is, so one of those elements that I think created this strong sense of urgency in people over the past period of time is this kind of, oh my gosh, how can we keep up with technological change, and particularly technological change stemming from AI with this? And I think that without question, we've seen some beautiful progress and advancement that's come from AI. We've seen some organizations really identify how to upskill their people and bring them along in that and get them focused on it. And I think what we're really going to see as we move into 2026 is some really strong curiosity and awareness about how do we stay human focused and human enabled as we leverage these tools that are coming from other areas. So I think we're seeing some actual sort of, I know I'm talking with my hands right now, but some calming down on this idea.
Maybe next year we'll do video.
Yeah. But I think what we're going to see going into 2026 is a little bit of lessening of anxiety around AI and technology and more openness and embracing of how we focus and leverage our human skills in using those tools. And I think what that stems from is this continued deep desire for really meaningful human connection, whether that's collaboration with other partners or it's building these really high performing teams within our organization, or even if it's really deeply understanding our member needs and challenges as we continue to go through I'll just say, uncertain economy at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I would add to that, I feel like recently, at least the conversations that I've been having, when I kind of even think back to the last half of the past year, it did seem like in the beginning it was conversations about AI and tools and the strategy and whatever you want to say. But it really switched more to people talking about impact and being excited about impact and like what they were feeling and the impact they were making. And I mean, I'm not sure if it is because of like a technology change or whatever, but even talking about growth and what they're learning and that idea. I mean, sometimes when the world shifts, we kind of all go back to being learners at the same spot. And so there is that kind of excitement. And I get the feeling as we were opening our eyes to new things that we started to look at other things and other places we could make impacts. And that, again, leads us back to that purpose right now. And that's something, it shouldn't be surprising in credit unions that people want to talk about the impact they're making more than they want to talk about their loan to share ratio most of the time or something like that. So it's that is something that I've noticed recently. And I always enjoy those conversations. They're fun. They make me smile. So
yeah, me too. I love that, as Tracy Kenyon always says, the people-y side of it all. And another reason I think these conversations about the human side and the impact on people is so important is, if you think about, if I were to say, and I guess I just ask our listeners right now to think about the biggest leadership challenge they've experienced. I ask you to kind of think about your biggest leadership challenge you've experienced. And I would surmise that in a significant majority of what people are thinking about right now as their biggest leadership challenge, it's actually probably not the loan to share ratio. It's not, did they calculate the balance sheet right? Like, it's probably something that has to do with people. And it doesn't mean it was a low performing employee. It could just mean like, oh my gosh, what do we do with the people when we have to do a remote work scenario or so, like, but they tend to be, as Tracy always says, people-y. Like
for all those CEOs out there, it could be board communication and members. It could be
board members are people too.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's what I think is so exciting about this topic and what we plan to address this year is really going deeper on those conversations that really matter on a human level. And so I'm really excited about what we're working to bring and really even how we're looking to engage our guests in these, because I can assure you that
there's going to be
guests will bring forward. I'm not going to ask them, how'd you get that loan to share ratio when we bring them on? Yeah.
No, but I can tell you that. I mean, most of them don't know they're going to be on the show yet, but we put together a pretty fine list over this holiday break. So I have it saved on my home screen. So some of you out there who are listening, expect a call. So let's tease this here a little bit more. We have some, like we were just talking about, some incredible conversations lined up with what I think are going to be such fun topics to have with friends and leaders in our space. I'll throw that over to you for a second.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to some episodes on really career-defining moments, the joy that comes for leaders when they're able to see others really shine, those practices that leaders use to help them stay grounded, the best ways to celebrate wins, creating legacy, owning your values, all that really good stuff, and being able to hear it from the perspectives of folks who have been in this industry and doing this work in a meaningful way over time too.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that idea of us having these conversations with a lot of the people that we really respect in this movement on what lifts leaders up, right? Taking that positive and powerful and meaningful approach to this entire year, I think it's something that we can all find inspiration from.
Yeah, I'm excited to be part of that. And I'm excited for that inspiration. Before we move forward into those conversations with others, let's get a little personal ourselves here about what we're bringing into 2026 with this. So what about you, Randy? What are you bringing in as a leader this year?
I was actually thinking about this the last few days. As you know, I somehow, not for the good of anything, got away from journaling for quite some time last year. And over the holiday break, I started to get back into it. And a big part of my journaling is always about being present. So for me, it's that idea, and I've been thinking a lot about it, of being fully present in the conversations. And the people that are in front of me, I don't want to say I got away from that as well, but like I do think there is a part of me the last few years that was like, oh, I don't need to meet new people. I may have even said that out loud many times. So, so that sounds terrible, but that idea of like hearing the stories, asking the good questions, being present when I'm fortunate enough to be around groups of amazing people and not just looking for the corner and letting my introvert self put me over there and be like, oh, geez, Jill will talk to him. Greg likes to talk to people. Why would I don't need to talk to people anymore.
These are the moments on the podcast where people don't think you're very honest because nobody believes that you're like a true introvert who avoids people because you definitely have an on switch, I think, my dear. So.
Do have an on switch. I want it to be even more genuinely on, though, and in that moment and in those conversations. So I'm looking forward to it. And then afterwards, I can run off to the islands and just decompress.
I am fully aware this is authentically you. Yeah, there's your down. But as much as you say, I just play an extrovert, I don't know. I'm curious how many people actually believe that. I know it's true. I get to see it. But you play it very well. So
I appreciate that. And I do genuinely like the conversations. They just, I get tired. So anyway, for the more extroverted one, I'm throwing it back to you now. What are your intentions for this year? What are you looking forward to? Maybe even if you want to, I don't know if you want to share, but what's your word of the year? Some may know that since you're really not on social media anymore, you don't share these things as much. So, I mean, you're on LinkedIn for everybody out there, but
I am definitely active on LinkedIn. Although I've got to say, and this is a bit of a tangent here, but so today happens to be about a weekend of January, and I was going to post a LinkedIn post today, but like there was so much pressure because I'm like, it's the first post of 2026 that has to be meaningful. And I'm like, no, I just want to say congratulations, Haley DeVee and Brock Sleek, for your new CEO appointments. It doesn't have to be like the tone-setting post of the year, right? So yeah, I have to get over this idea of because it's the first one in 2026 that has to be fireworks or something, but
there will be plenty of firsts in 2026, my love. So make each one a first. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Yeah. So what this though kind of moves into is, so I do have a word of the year. I am not going to share that right now. It may come up later. But as I went through the exercise for identifying my word of the year this year, part of what I really sort of developed as I was moving through it was this phrase that is not my word of the year, but I do think it's going to be a touch point and some fuel for the year. And the concept is I want to experience energized ease. So it's not...
Whoa. Go more into that. What is energized ease?
So great question. And part of my exploration for the year is going to be really defining what that is and what that means to me. So I talk a lot at work or at workshops that I put on about the concept of, as an employee, as a worker, finding your flow, finding that zone of genius, finding that place where you really put your strengths into it. And I think that that is part of this, but here's what people probably do believe about me that I'll disclose anyway. I am not a laid back person. So like, the idea of like, and like the idea of being like, oh, I'm just going to go with the flow, or I'm just going to approach this year with ease. I don't even believe that about myself. Like, it's not going to happen. So what I settled on with this is I do want this to be a year where I really find myself feeling more flow, but not in a sense of like, I'm just going to lay back and see where this lazy river carries me. Like, I really want energy around it. So this really intentional, purposeful approach to a life that does leverage those strengths. So in some ways, I'm kind of thinking about it as like that flywheel concept where it takes a while to get that flywheel going. But once it's going, you've got some momentum to follow. Humanidei is 7 years old this year. I've done a lot to really move that flywheel. And I think this is a year where I'm able to say there's a lot of momentum that has really been built up. My team keeps growing. We've hit the double digits on team members right now. And I want to lean into the joy that comes from having built something and to feel that. But it doesn't mean I want to step back. I don't do laid back, as we just said. There's no autopilot here with me. And so, but it's this idea of bringing that right level of energy to that flow. So still playing with it, still exploring with it a little bit, but I think that's what it is to me right now.
Well, while we were talking, I asked ChatGPT what my word of the year is. And my exact prompt was, what's my word of the year? One word only. It's alignment. I've never done a word of the year. I don't plan on starting now, but I just thought, hey, what the heck, AI?
So how present were you in that conversation?
That's funny because while I was typing that, I went, I'm not being very present right now. So it's something I need to work on, obviously. Yes. That's it was a quick prompt, but yes.
I love the multitude of irony that just came up in that.
Absolutely. No. I'm sure everybody caught that too. Like, wait, he was on ChatGPT while she was talking. I'm like, oh, okay. And we all know I'm not a good multitasker. So that's anyways. Yeah, well. So my word of the year is growth and to keep trying, I guess. So.
That's good. Hey, alignment is there too. It's just that reminder to keep putting the actions aligned with the intention, keep pulling that together. I love that so much.
Well, I'm just going to say that seems like a perfect way to start wrapping this thing up and kick off this season. There's more fun to come. So
yeah, this really was a fun way to kick off the season, and of course we're just getting started here with the season for 2026.
We really are. Thank all of you for joining us. This is episode 225 of the CUInsight Experience, which is wild to think about. We appreciate each and every one of you more than you could ever know.
Thank you. And to all of our upcoming guests, whether you know who you are or not, we can't wait to share your stories and your wisdom with this community. So please say yes when we reach out to you.
And I will ask, beg, do whatever this is one more time. If you're enjoying this conversation or the idea of what we have coming up and all these different guests that we're going to have, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And again, we'd love for you to share it with somebody else who you think could enjoy starting off their year and their entire year have a little more purpose.
Absolutely. We'll be back soon with more conversations to help you lead with clarity, confidence, and purpose.
Until then, take care, y'all. We cannot wait till we see you next time.
Thanks again to Alacrity for sponsoring this episode of the CUInsight Experience podcast. To find out more about Alacrity, visit alacrity.com.